All right, here we are in Adobe Bridge, and we've got this Lanai night shot. Go through the raw images here real quick. Give you an idea of what we're working with, and we'll get straight to it. I think I will go with this one as my base. Bring this right into Camera Raw and just start making adjustments as usual. Adjust the exposure, contrast. Come back into Adobe Bridge, and I think I'll use this one to take down the overexposed areas. That looks pretty good. Just throw that onto my document. Take that down to about 4K. Pop in a mask and just start painting in to the somewhat overexposed areas. And that's pretty good. Don't need to go too much crazier than that. And I'll come back into Adobe Bridge. And I think I'll grab this one. Just looking for something to kind of take up the brightness with the outside here. And then I'll go ahead and pop in a path. And I'm just going to get right to making this path. That way I can take up the brightness on the outside. Doesn't have to be perfect. Again, I'm going to be painting out a lot of this mask anyways. And I think I'll go around those chairs instead of including them. Yeah, the same with this little table right here too. All right, there we go. Just about done. Go ahead and connect this. Make a selection and then just apply that. Yeah, there we go. It's going to be good. Let me go ahead and get the rest of this real quick though. Sometimes it can just be so tedious having to make all your paths, you know. Let me go ahead and feather that. Don't want it to have that sharp, crisp line. And again, always make sure that you're, blurring, or blending your masks together properly, things like that. Gonna have to do that in a second. Just take a broad brush with the blur tool and come back over there real quick like that. But I think the outside looks pretty decent. It's just a little too dark for me. And with a broad brush, I'm just going to paint this out. Paint that mask out. And then paint it in, paint it out, paint it in. Just cycling back and forth by hitting X, like so. That way I'm just getting a nice blend between those two layers right there. Zoom in and make sure that I'm not getting anything harsh around the edges of those of that table or the chairs themselves. And let me see if I can't add some contrast to the outside as well. Use that existing path. And then just paint it in. Kind of on the right-hand side is where I'd like to see it a little bit more. And that looks decent. I'll kind of paint it out on the bottom there like that. But that's pretty good so far. It's a decent little blend. I'm not liking that right there at the top. I'll have to come back there and manually adjust that in a second. Come over here and make a quick selection of the interior. It's just too dark, too yellow. Go ahead and connect that and then just pop in an adjustment layer. Pop in an adjustment layer. And just bring it to a point that I'd like to see. And again, take down the yellows. Use that existing layer. And I'm going to have to actually change the... Looks like I'm going to have to change the actual color temperature because just desaturating it and adjusting the brightness isn't quite doing it for me. So I think I need to actually change the colors itself. Colors themselves. I'll do that by taking it into Camera Raw. All I did was merged all onto a new layer, and I'm just focusing on the inside. And I'll use that existing mask to apply that. Yeah, that's better. It's just a little too yellow. That's better. And I'll paint it out just a tad. Just a little bit. And again, I need to zoom in. Make sure I haven't gone too crazy with the, make sure I haven't gotten lazy with the overall masking and things like that. Looks like I did right here. And up here. It's not a big deal. I would like to fix that though. Let me see if I can't just make a quick selection and then just exclude that. I don't think I'll be able to because I brushed it in already. I doubt this will work. Will it work? Okay, yeah, kind of did. That's better. I think that's all right for now. This one keeps catching my eye though. I got to come back to that in a second. So for these Lanai shots, the agent actually wants a fire in the fireplace. So I have to do that in a second. It's usually not too difficult. So, but again, sometimes it just looks pretty fake and artificial. It's kind of like putting images on the TV. I really try to avoid that unless they request it. Sometimes it can look better though when we actually put fire in the fireplace itself. And I'm just looking around for different lens spots, things like that that I can clean up real quick. But the image overall is looking pretty good. Usually I would remove the surveillance cameras, things like that. I'm not going to though. It's going to take a little bit more time, and there's actually several other shots of these Lanai shots and pool shots, and I would have to remove it from each and every one, and there's like 10 other ones other than just this one right here, so it's going to take too much time, and I just don't have that much time to put into these right now. So focusing on the fireplace, let's see if we can't get a quick solution to the fire by putting some fire in there. I think that's good. So I've got this fireplace image right here that I like to use sometimes. Usually works pretty well. Sometimes it's difficult to make work. But I'm just going to use the distort tool. Kind of move this and manipulate it into place. Try to follow the edge of the metal on the bottom. That way we get a somewhat decent perspective on it. I know we can always use other tools like vanishing point and things like that, but sometimes I just like to get in and out, do something quick and dirty. Most of the time, that's good enough. And I'm just going to use that as a clipping mask. Again, I don't know if this is going to work. I might have to spend a minute on this. I need the gravel of the image to follow the metal, basically railing right here at the bottom. And then see if I can't use a, just throw that into a blending mode. Usually that's good enough. Pop in a mask right there. See if I can't paint some of this out over on this side. See what I can get away with. Lighten screen, lighten screen. I think lighten is the way to go. Paint out some of the top here. Just trying to clean up those flames a little bit. Make the image a little bit more defined, and of course that doesn't look very good because the gravel and the flames itself are not behind the green glass right here. So I'm going to come in here with the polygonal lasso tool and just make a quick selection, and then copy and paste that. Put it on the top here. Put it over the flames themselves. This may work, it may not. Yeah, it kind of looks fishy. Not 100% on that. Let me try this one more time. Let me try something. Instead of doing that, let me grab this color and just fill it into a new... Yeah, fill it into a new layer like that. And I just want to have this green tinted glass kind of over it. And then see if I can't remove the gravel on the bottom. See if I can't paint this out. I'm not sure how this is going to look. I think it's an improvement. Yeah. It's the perspective. Now that I'm looking at it, it just kind of looks off to me. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect though, but I do need this this glass, this layer to look like it's actually in front of the flames themselves. And I think that's decent. It looks decent to me. But it has such a green tint to it that the flames themselves are actually they're basically becoming green, and it kind of throws me off. Let me see if I can't. What would this do? I don't want the flames themselves to be green necessarily. I think that's decent though. Just increase that by about maybe 18%. Sometimes you just have to sit here and play with different values and things like that to get a decent result. But I think that's okay for now. Another thing that I could do is try to just grab something like this and like just give it a little bit of that, little bit of something so that it kind of looks like there, so that it looks like there is a little bit of light being emitted from the flames themselves. But again, this thing is so green. We're even getting caustics and refraction from the glass itself. So I think this is okay. It looks decent for spending a few minutes on it. think I'm happy with it overall. I don't think the agents will have any issues with that. But before I head out, I'm going to, again, merge all onto a new layer, and I'm just going to grab... I'll just grab this piece right here and just try and lower this down. Just trying to lower that down and then just cut the rest of that, because that was really irking me. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Of course, I could always do that. And then just come in there with the eraser tool. Just kind of bring that curve back in there. That's fine. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm still getting it a little bit over here, but I think it's okay. I think the image overall looks pretty good. Let me go ahead and run my sharpen pass. Make sure that I took down the resolution. Yep. Okay. Looks good overall. And then I could just kind of grab this this magazine real quick here as a last minute thing. Just kind of up the brightness, a little bit of contrast. Maybe give it just a tad bit of color. I don't think it's really going to work though. Yeah, I guess that's fine. Just paint in a little bit of color to the wicker material or whatever this is on the chairs themselves. Just a tad. Just a few clicks, a couple of drags. That's all I really need. And it looks like it might be a little bit too warm here in this area. But once I come back and do a final review on the images, I think I'll be able to get everything sorted. I should really come in there and remove that real quick. Because I did it on the others, so might as well just spend 10-20 seconds on this. And, you know, it's alright if it's blotched a little bit from a distance. It's more than acceptable. But I think for now this image looks pretty good, and I'll come back to it in a few minutes and make sure that it is in fact good to go.